Detachment is not that you own nothing. Detachment is nothing owns you. When you are so attached to something, it begins to own you. It begins to consume you, and it begins to take over your whole life. So to be detached is to not be attached to anything that is outside of you. It's time to enter your free girl era, where attachments are a thing of the past and detachment is a way of life, because honestly, everything can flow so much easier from this state. Welcome to your free girl era. When you begin to let attachment consume you, it begins to control you, which is so ironic because when we are attached to something, we try to control the outcome of how it's going to come to us. I know, right? In life, we can get so caught up in ways turning out a certain way or needing to be a certain way so that we can find fulfillment. But I want you to think back into your life when things didn't seem to be working so well. Then it happens, little by little and all at once. Things tended to unfold perfectly in the way they were supposed to, and you were always taken care of in the end. When you look at your life this way, you'll start to see that everything happens for a reason and everything is happening for you. Things always work out for the best, even if it doesn't seem like it in the beginning. It's important to have neutrality versus having the angst of thinking, this is not working out for me. It's like when you don't get the job you wanted, but then the one you actually end up getting is way better for you. Or when you're going through that painful breakup and you're missing that person, but then all of a sudden you meet this other amazing person who's actually way better aligned for you. Like, these things do happen, and I can count many times it's happened in my own life, and I'm sure it's happened in your life too. A strong example of this I think of because I was so passionate about it. In high school, I so wanted to be on the volleyball team. I admired the girls who played volleyball, and I thought it looked so fun, and it seemed like something I totally wanted to do. I went to all the tryouts, and in the end, I got cut. I did not make the team, and that day I went and cried into the bathroom until my mom came to pick me up. The next day, I had some friends who were in cheer, and they're like, why don't you try out for cheerleading? And I was like, oh, you're so right. I need to redirect this pain and go on to a new venture, because I was really bummed about not making the volleyball team. So then I emailed the coach and I said, hey, I'm interested in joining. That day she emails me back, says I'm already on the team. I didn't even need to try out. And then the next 4 years were history. I had a great time being a cheerleader, and I was so happy that I got rejected from volleyball, because if I had not, I would not have been on the cheer team and had the most amazing experience during my time in high school because of it. This is just one of the many examples, but it's always one that stands out so brightly because I was actually so crushed from not making volleyball. And it was like, wait, the universe had better plans for me. It's important not to become dependent on the thing you want to make you feel a certain way. It's important to bring those feelings that you think you'll get from getting that thing into the present. If you think it's going to make you happier, look already in the life around you for things that already do make you happy, for the people that you do enjoy spending time with. If you're thinking getting that thing is going to make you feel more lovable or more loved, look at your life and see the ways you already are loved. Is it love from a pet, love from a parent, love from a friend? Start already embodying the things that you're trying to cultivate in your future and bring it into the now. Don't let outcomes, people, material things have so much power over you that you will not be happy until you get those things. Because let me tell you something, sometimes you get those things and you'll realize, wow, I'm still not happy. And that's really disappointing. So it's time to start cultivating that happiness and that joy for yourself right now, instead of waiting for something outside of yourself or something in the future to give it to you, because it's really up to you. When things are not working out in the way you want them to, ask yourself why this matters. What is it about this not working out that is hurting you? Is there some underlying feelings of feeling unworthy, of unlovable? Ask yourself how you can heal from these feelings and what you can do to fulfill your own needs before chasing after something external outside of you that may never give you that satisfaction that you're truly desiring. Ask yourself, what is this challenging situation, or what is the lack of this trying to teach me? Instead of being the victim to your circumstances and thinking, I never get what I want, I'm always unhappy, things never work out for me. Instead of that victim mentality, start telling yourself that things do always work out for you. And in the end, you're always taken care of, and you are guided, and you are protected, and things will naturally unfold in the way they are supposed to and in divine timing. You have to get comfortable within yourself, within your own presence, because you are the only person who you are going to spend the rest of your life with. Everyone else comes and goes. Everyone else is on their own journey, figuring out their own life. And so you have to do the same. You have to start figuring out what's the best way I can take care of myself. How can I better attune to my needs? And how can I get into alignment so everything that I desire can come to me with flow rather than me chasing from an attached and desperate space, and rather I can start creating from a detached space. It's important to cultivate this nourishing relationship within yourself, because we're not always going to get that thing that we so desperately want. We need to know that we're going to be okay even if we don't get that thing, that we're not putting our value, we're not putting our worth into that external thing that we think is going to make us feel better. And instead, we're already having that within us. So if it comes, that's great. It's going to add to my life. It's going to make my life greater. And if it doesn't, that's also great, because clearly it wasn't meant for me. And you will see that you will be led down a path that will make sense in the future. It may not make sense right now, but I guarantee you, looking back, it will make sense. You can't control every little detail of an outcome, but you can control your reaction to these things. Instead of, when things don't work out, instead of saying, oh, my life sucks, start saying, oh, what can I learn from this? What can I use from this failure or this hurdle in the road? What can I use from this to teach me how to be better when it happens again, or how to navigate better in the future? If you are reacting obsessively to a certain situation happening in the way you want it, you are pushing it away. When you're chasing something, what does it do? It runs. Like if you're chasing something, you're obviously chasing something that is running away. Like when you're chasing your friend when you're playing tag, they're running away from you. So instead, turn that energy and become the detached version of you that allows things to come in, because you know that you will be okay with or without that thing. If you relax about the topic and let things just flow in divine timing, I guarantee you it will have a better time and a better chance of coming into your life, no matter what the thing may be. It's important to take care of your needs and yourself first before expecting anyone or anything else to do it for you. You need to become your own best friend in this process we call life, because you are going to be with yourself for the rest of your life. Might as well make good friends with yourself, right? You cannot be a victim in your own life, saying that things never work out for you and then expect your dream life to appear. You have to change your mindset into a mindset of abundance. You have to know your worth with or without those things. See rejections and challenges as a redirection to the way you're supposed to be going in life. So how can you start? How can you start detaching today? Let me tell you. First off, telling myself these affirmations anytime I start to feel I'm getting too attached to a certain outcome, or I'm getting anxiety over the way something's going to pan out, I tell myself these affirmations. They're just wired into my brain every time these problems come up, and immediately they put me at ease because I know they're true, and they've proven to be true time and time again in my own life. Number one, everything happens for a reason. I know, so simple, but so powerful. 2, what is meant for me will be. This is not a rejection, but a redirection. And lastly, what I want wants me to. All of these, as simple and as clear as they are, that's exactly what they are. Clear and simple and to the point. So if you have an anxiety-filled mind, or if you can't stop fretting about how things are going to pan out, just saying these soothing but true and powerful affirmations that are easy to remember is going to instantly snap you out of that and put you right back into your detached, free girl era. Next, I want you to make either a mental note in your head or get your notes out and write everything that's ever happened in your life that you wanted so badly that ended up happening. This is a great reminder that things do always work out, and even if it's not in the way you had expected it, the how to happen, it always worked out. Whether it was like that job you really wanted, you always got, or the trip abroad you always wanted and then you finally did, or the braces you couldn't wait to get off and then you finally did. And just even like the smallest successes, like that one day you got out of bed when you felt like you didn't want to work out and then it turned out to be a really great workout. It could be anything, but just think of every success you've had that's led you to where you are now, and think of how powerful that is in itself. Because if your past self could do all those things that she once wanted, so can your future self. So can yourself now in the present too. You know the quote, you are right now where you once prayed to be? It's so true. In my own life, I remember praying and doing manifestation techniques to get me to Spain, to live abroad. And now that's exactly what I'm doing. And it's so easy to get caught up once we have that thing we want, to start thinking once again, like, oh my gosh, I want to get to that next thing. I want to get to that next thing. But it's like, first, take a moment and see how far you've already come, because I bet you it's going to be a longer list than you think. While you're yearning for something you want that's outside of you, you are exactly where your past self once yearned to be at. So just appreciate that. And that's why it's so important to have gratitude these days, because that which he is grateful for, he receives more of. Count your blessings. It doesn't hurt. It only makes you feel great. It's the quickest way to feel better. And it's the quickest way to remind you that you do not need to hang on to this attachment, because the detached free girl era in you knows that you can detach and have everything come, because you've shown yourself in the past that you were able to do that same thing. You have proof. You right here today are living proof that things always work out. And if you still find yourself getting anxious randomly, if it's before bed or if it's before, you leave your house, whatever it is, it's about going back to those little techniques that really do work when it comes to these things. Whether it's stopping and taking a breath for at least a minute, in and out. Just doing that, honestly, right now, I feel totally different than I did a minute ago. It's amazing what the breath can do. It's the fastest way to reset. Another thing too is just journaling, getting all that junk that's here, that's saying you're attached, that you're a loser, that nothing ever works out. Get that out on paper and scrap it. Throw it away. Get rid of it. Don't judge yourself. Just use anything you can. Go for a run. Sometimes this is the best way to clear my own head. Get those endorphins up. You feel immediately better after going on a run, trust me. Or a workout, anything like that. Move your body. It almost is like ridding you of this like attachment. Let go of the chains and just detach. Talk to a friend who always lifts you up, who knows your strengths and will talk you out of this rut. We all have that friend who sees you, knows you, and snaps you out of it anytime you start to doubt yourself or question your own self. Just do anything to ease the tension in the moment and be kind to yourself. Because if you're running up against a wall saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not going to get there, and you're just so anxious about how am I going to do it, I really want it, but I can't get there, like you're just going to run yourself up the wall and it's just not going to be productive. So the best thing you can do is just to let go and to surrender. And that's really what we're doing when we detach, is we just trust that what we want is coming to us and trust that what we want wants us too, right? Another thing is important to note, that know you will be okay without this thing, because before you get this thing, before you've ever had this thing in your life, you were okay. There was a time you didn't even desire this thing. It wasn't even on your mind. You were fine. You were totally fine. It wasn't until you got attached to this thing where you thought, I need this or I'm not going to be happy, that you started creating this like thing that without this, I'm not going to be happy. But actually you will be, because there was a time in your life where you were totally fine without it. And that's really important to remember. Use the waiting time for getting to where you want to be as a time to better improve yourself. This is a great time to learn more about yourself, the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with, right? Learn a new hobby, learn a new skill, talk to a therapist, maybe uncover limiting beliefs. Use this time as a moment of self-growth, because you'll only gain from using this time to improve yourself versus worrying yourself into misery because you don't have that thing yet. Rather, see different areas in your life that you can improve in the meantime. Some questions to ask yourself when you are working through limiting beliefs is, why are you so anxious that you will not receive the thing that you want? What are you hoping will happen when you receive the thing that you want? What are you expecting to feel when you attain this thing that you want? Are there areas in your life that are already fulfilling that need? If not, how can you try to cultivate those needs within yourself? Again, use this time to get to know yourself because you have the rest of your life to spend with. If you think that getting this thing that you are so attached to will make you happier, look at the areas in your life that are already bringing you joy. Is it when you play with your pet, spend time with a loved one, or do that great workout? Do more of those things. It's important to get into that flow because when you're in that state of flow, you're truly detached because you're feeling good. You're not anxiously thinking, when's this thing gonna come? Rather, you have let go of all your walls and your barriers, and you're just fully present in the moment with yourself, and you're taking care of your needs. That is truly when things can start aligning for you in the way you desire. And you may not know how or what it's going to look like, but that's the beauty of life. Wouldn't it be boring if we knew how everything was going to unravel? Yeah, what would be the point? It's in those moments when we actually let go and we look back and we say, wow, that turned out way better than I ever thought it could. Or, wow, it happened in this way I never expected. Those are the true success stories that we all love hearing. Be open to the miracles unfolding in front of you without knowing how. So, say you've soothed your anxieties, but you want to know how you can be proactive in this moment. You still want to know you're on the path to creating the life that you desire. And while you are detached, you want to make sure you are cultivating the life you want. There are things you can do, of course. Everybody knows these manifesting techniques, but sometimes it's nice to get that reminder. Visualization in the morning and before you go to bed is the best time because you're still in that state of mind where it's easy to trick your brain. It doesn't really know. It's in that still dreamy state, so it's easy to program into it what you want. Don't start getting wrapped up in the how it's going to happen, but rather stay in tune with what you're going to feel like when you have it. What are the feelings? Because it's the feelings that will connect you to that moment. Vision boards, of course. Every new year, I like to do a vision board. They seem to help a lot of people. Every new season, you can do a new vision board, or just whenever you feel like it, do a vision board. You can do it on Pinterest. You can do it with magazines. There's an endless amount of ways. I even had a friend who did it on Canva, which is free. Scripting is also a powerful way. Write down exactly how you want that thing to come into your life, how it's going to feel when you finally have that thing. What are you going to be wearing? What are the smells? Who are you going to be with? Who's the first person you're going to tell when you get that thing you really want? Really just immerse yourself in the situation. And if you do that great by writing, that's a great way to do it. Again, stay detached by not getting caught up in the how. Just stay focused on the vision of what you want and not getting so torn up about how it's going to happen, because it will happen. You just won't know how, and that's the beauty in life. We don't know everything. We don't have all the answers. And remember this, really all we do have is now. The future is not guaranteed. Would you want to look back in your life thinking that you worried your way to everything you got, that life was so filled with anxiety because you couldn't relax and just trust that things were going to unfold? Or would you rather look back and say, I made the best of my life, and yes, there are things I wanted, but I stayed present and true to the things that did make me feel good, and I focused on those things, and with that, everything just came to me in the best way possible? Like, that sounds way more freeing than thinking, oh my God, I'm so anxious about how I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and rather just focusing on your quality of life in the now, because really that's all we have. 2 seconds ago it was gone. The future is unknown. We don't know. We're lucky if we have it. Every day is a blessing when we wake up. And it's important to remember that because not every day is guaranteed. And we're reminded this, of course, when death is around us, when we experience a death in our lives. It's like, wow, we really never know when our last breath will be. And it's so important to use the time that we do have now to make it great, because this is all we have. And this is the one life you're going to get. So at least do yourself that by calming down and not worrying so much about the how, because it's going to work out. It always has, and it always will. Detach and enter your free girl era by not chasing things that are outside of you, but rather visualize the things that you want Enjoy the present moment and surrender. Just allow things to happen in the way they're supposed to happen. You're here to live one life, and it's meant to feel great. Life's not meant to be a struggle. Only you have the power to see the silver lining in everything. And just remember, you have everything already inside you to start creating the life you want, whether that's more happiness, more love, more joy. It all starts with you.